A warm welcome to Business Daily right here on Trust Television, and of course we say Merry Christmas to our Christian brothers and sisters all around the world. Well, let's take our top business stories for now. Glad to have you back. Now we go to the stock market to give you highlights of the stock trading. Of course, as you may be aware, today is public holiday, today and tomorrow for Christmas and of course Boxing Day celebration. So the market is also on public holiday as well. But we'll give you highlights of what happened on Friday. Of course, the NGS Santa Claus rally actually continued on Friday amid profit taken by investors, which was expected, most especially on the last trading day of big holiday like Christmas. We have the market, down 0.36%, though that not in any way affect the stock market performance. As you see, the all-share index there are way above 70,000, 4,023.27 basis point there. Of course, the market cap, 40.5 trillion as well, 423.301 million volume of trade value at 16.584 billion, and in the days of 6,333 exchange hands on Friday among investors. Look at the top gainers from Friday. The top gaining equity of Trans cohort gaining 10% to close at 63 naira and 80 kobo. There, Multiverse also recorded a huge gain as well, 10%, 13 naira 97 kobo. Its shares price closed on Friday. And of course, Infinity Mortgage Bank also not doing so badly there. 9.95% gain is recorded to close at 4 naira and 53 kobo per shares. Of course, the losing equities are also left out. Cornhall PLC, one of the not so popular equity there listed on the Nigeria Stock Exchange, losing 8.73% to close at 1 naira and 15 kobo per shares. Of course, investors of those companies taking a profit. International Brewery down 8.33% as well, 4 naira and 40 kobo. The share price also ended. And of course, Prestige Assurance 7.84% negative to close at 47 kobo per shares. Let's look at the activities table. It's dominated by Universal Insurance Company. 41.9 million of its shares were traded. Transcorp Nigeria also 41.9 million of its shares also traded, and of course Mutual Benefit Assurance traded 30.2 million volume of shares. How is this reflected in the sectorial performance? We see the banking sector down in red there, clear there, 0.77%. We look at the industrial sector also down 0.03%, and of course the consumer goods sector also lost marginally there, 0.03%. The oil and gas sector has remained flat as well. Not so much activities in that sector in the last couple of months or thereabouts. But the insurance sector, the biggest gainer, of course, for the day, 1.17%. The rest of Africa too are not doing badly. In Joburg is in red, surprisingly 1.37% to close at 74,379.57 basis point. indeed Nigerian market is really in a race to catch up with the GSE there in South Africa. In Ghana, it's in a flat. The market closed flat. Nothing really happened on Friday on the Ghana bourse. Of course, in Nairobi, the market ended strong, 0.62%. It ended. These are the highlights of the stock trading. Like we told you earlier, the market is on public holidays for today and of course tomorrow. So we'll keep it up till the market close on Wednesday, where we'll also give you all the update that you need to know right from the market. But now we'll go on a very quick break. When we come back, we'll look at the Christmas celebration and the cost implication for Nigerians. Don't go away.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
Glad to have you back. And Merry Christmas again to all our viewers out there. And of course, it's the Business Daily right here on Trust Television. Now, we're looking at the cost of Christmas to Nigerians. Every year, you see Nigerians, are always in a rush to see how they can actually catch up with one thing or the other. Is an annual festival in Nigeria and, of course, in most African countries, around the world, actually, generally. But what are the cost implications of this for Nigerians? We have a report from Ado Musa there, which highlights some of the last-minute rush by Nigerians to get 1 or 2 things for themselves for Christmas. Let's take a look at that report.
Prices of things are very expensive. Like how we bought things yesterday, the price of things yesterday is different from today. I don't know if it's because tomorrow is Christmas, but people that will come for shopping in the evening or tomorrow morning, their price, they'll just cut their neck. I came to the market with my budget, so I will try to buy what it can buy. The things that are most important, I'll buy it. And leave the rest. I'll adjust, I'll cut down some things like that.
Tomatoes are where the rubber custard for 1.5, but today the least you can get is just 2,000. After that, you are begging for it.
This is the situation in the markets as residents just for last day purchases for the annual Christmas festivity.
The current economic climate in Nigeria is watering down the festive mood of most residents who are unable to afford food and non-food items for the Christmas celebrations. Most residents say, although some goods are relatively affordable, their purchasing power has been diminished, likely affecting the fanfare arrangement for the festive season.
We are here in the town patronizing for Christmas goods, and the prices is very, very high. Something we are buying of 1,000 naira, they are selling it 2,500 naira, which I'm very, very angry. I'm very, very angry of that. So the government should try and do something for us, seriously, because we don't want to buy it at this price. It has to be below.
Okay, the prices in the market are fair, but some federal government did not pay all the federal staffs, but in our state they paid They pay the state government. The state government pay his workers, but people are still trying the market to buy some things, some goods for their homes, so that they will get what they will celebrate their Christmas with.
The price, I wish I had come earlier because what I priced before is not what I'm actually pricing now. The price is almost triple of what I priced before. So I think the thing is really higher than before.
I came to buy Christmas clothes for my children. The shade is very costly. There is no money in the market, and the things are very, very costly. Children's clothes are very, very expensive. The shade is almost 8,000 naira per shade of the children. The trouser is 8,000 naira. There is no money. Things are very, very hard for us. To buy a rice now, the price of the rice is almost 1,500 naira per measure. The flour is 1,300 naira. So we are not finding things easy. Things are very, very costly.
While many buyers are expressing concern over their inability to shop for the celebration due to a lack of money, the sellers, on the other hand, are complaining about low patronage, which is unusual this time of the year. Despite the gloomy situation, many Christian families are determined to celebrate the season. Come on. Ado Musa.
Quite a whole lot of lamentation there. Sorry for the earlier mix-up in the report there from there, but we heard Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians complaining here. My guest is here in the studio. Aliyu Illias is an economist and, of course, a financial analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You listening to Nigerians,
right.
Many of them lamenting seriously.
Right.
The first Christmas under a New Hope government, I mean, it's not looking good.
Right. Thank you. First and foremost, permit me to wish all our Christians a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year in advance. It's gladdening to have that opportunity to celebrate again. However, no thanks to Nigeria economy, because economy is so difficult that Nigerians find it difficult to celebrate as usual. You know, a lot of indices are shown that there's actually economic problem, from the issue of food prices, issue of transportation, inflation, and whatever. So all these things come together to make it pretty difficult for Nigerians. You agree with me that you can't compare last year to this year. Nigeria is becoming a year that you say last year was better. And I don't know when we are going to change from that prayer that lets, you know, the new year be at least a bit easier, you know, compared to the last year. But economically, I think these are recurring decimal that we could have even stopped even before the removal of fuel subsidy. A lot of things need to be checked. I ordinarily every December come with inflation because of its Russian water, but Nigerian government in particular can do a lot of things to tame such things. Because if you look at fruit prices, it's every year like this. Though this year is a bit beyond what we expect. However, there's what we call supply chain. You know, if supply chain is not well managed, it brings a lot of problem. But imagine if government has taken into account from October, started taming the challenge of supply chain. By now, it would have been a serious ease of celebrating Christmas. A good example, federal government came out and said they want to deduct 50% from transportation. As at Friday, you know, some company are just implementing. And how do they implement it? In fact, the implementation was so poor that they say you, passengers, should pay completely. After 24 hours, they will return the money, the 50% back to you. So it was not well conceptualized. It was done in a rush, and that's a problem. So this thing that they apply could have been applied to supply chain process earlier before now, and it would have made everything to stabilize.
Someone did say that instead of government, you know, coming out to say they're cutting cost of transportation by 50%, they should have just, you know, cut the fuel price by 50% within this period. Probably, I mean, let pay subsidies to some of the filling stations where drivers can actually go and get fuel.
That would have a better multiplier effect, because if you cut cost of buying fuel, perhaps you may say you don't want to even cut it for some private, maybe for public. That would have bring a lot of multiplier effect, because if I'm to pay 50,000 naira to East and they say I should pay 30,000 naira considering the amount they bought, that would have been direct intervention, because this one is definitely being abused. We don't want to be saying all those things, but we have seen different theory about how people abuse such processes. Perhaps you are only looking at organized commercial company, commercial transport company. What about non-organized one that are much more, because people, just because of the Christmas, they want to venture into the business. So I think the conceptualization of the idea was very poor, because if you want to bring subsidy, you want to relieve people, you don't relieve through another channel of problem. Look at what those transporters are saying, that you should pay full and they will return 50% at when, what time. And government also did not set a good parameter on time on how they are going to pay this, because some of them are still in doubt that if I embarked on deduction of 50%, how will I? And also, we should also be clear again with economics. Remember that every person wants immediate profit. So if you are saying that I should give deduction of 50%, and later you give me, what about the cost of me trading off that thing at that time? Because if you remember, before government will pay, it could be take a month, 2 months. That means they also go borrowing to cushion the effects on their part. So at what percentage interest are you also giving them? So these are another thing we need to look at.
I also heard the railway corporation also complaining that this issue happened with the last government. Up to now, they are still suffering the effect.
Exactly, and that's why I said it was conceptualized in a rush. Because when you want to do something, bring about the stakeholder, NURTW, railway sector, transport unions, bring all of them together, discuss it holistically a month before, 2 months before. So they would have deciphered a better way of, because I can tell you, it does not all go well with transporters, these decisions. It was just like
even the commuters themselves.
Exactly, it's just like how do you call it? It's just like optics to show that government is doing well, and in reality, it does not have a good effect.
It doesn't really look good. I must tell you. I heard feelers from different kind of people who've told me how the whole thing has been abused and even mismanaged as well. Is it that we're finding it difficult to get it right as a country? I mean, coming few days to Christmas to say you're cutting transportation without proper planning, probably no consultation, stakeholders were not even brought in. Everything, like you said, was done in a rush, and at the end of the day, I mean, the effects will not really be counted. But I can actually tell you that years down the line, they will tell you that they did this, they did that, and all of that.
We must say this. I think most this present government decisions are always done in a rush. I can take account of many of them for you. Let's talk about the first subsidy removal. It was done in a rush. Let's also talk about the palliative giving out. It was done in a rush. Look at this one too. It was done in a rush. So this government needs to take it upon itself to be proactive, not reactive. A good government.
The government started on a wrong note.
Exactly. So a government must make sure they are proactive, not reactive. So it shows clearly that they are reactive to this issue of traveling, that their transportation fare. They are reactive to issue of palliative. It's not well conceptualized. Even they are also reactive to issue of first subsidy removal. So I think Tinubu government needs to look at it very well. Perhaps now that we have known this, we know that next celebration could be after January 1st, could be Islamic celebration, maybe Eid al-Kabir or Eid al-Mawlid, all this Eid. So you should have known that at this point in time, you can also plan ahead of that, not wait till that time and start doing some. So economy is somehow reactive. So you have to take your time also to plan ahead before you allow it to happen.
Indeed. I saw a cartoon this morning and the caption is "Fill rice bags, pots, plate with renewed hope."
Well, a lot of caricature everywhere, but it's quite saddening that if you look at cost of food prices, it has gone astronomically high. A rice that you buy a bag of rice at 44,000 naira is now 61,000 naira. So a lot of Nigerians are looking at these people taking advantage of it, but I wouldn't agree with that, because as a businessman, you also incur transport costs. So you are expected to transfer that cost. And perhaps when you say transport cost, it's not like before. Now, there's subsidy removal. So everything has gone haywire that you find it difficult to even comprehend. In fact, some people are even out of the business. Perhaps some people even buy and there's unsold already. I can tell you, most people that sell chickens, they expect people to come and patronize them. But if you go through their shops, you see that the chicken has still piled up. They have unsold. People doesn't have the purchasing power to go ahead to buy those things. So also the goats and other things. You could also see from your from the Vox Pop you share, you see that people are not that much as expected in the market. Goods are available there. People are not there to buy. You know,
financial strength is weak.
The purchasing power is very, very weak.
Very
so
low.
and government must do something, because you know why? This also have multiply effect on our GDP. The more people are very poor in purchasing power, the more they find it difficult to do other things. I know it's a multiplier effect scenario where what I get, I also transfer it to the next person. So it can also reflect in our economy. And another worst thing that is still happening is the issue of cash crunch. Very saddening. You know, since last year, renewal of new Naira, we have not had it better. And we still wait up to this time. And I think I have to throw that challenge to Aliyu Illias. He has waited too much to really solve the problem. It appears that truly there was not enough new Naira notes. And perhaps if you want to collect 20,000 Naira, you have to trade off 1,500 Naira, trade off 1,000 Naira for that. So it has actually eroded the one you even want to use to do other things. So I think government needs to do more. Like in other stations that I went, I told them that government should set up what is called mystery shoppers. Mystery shoppers go ahead, pretend like a customer to really understudy the problem. Right? Should it be money deposit bank or CBN problem? Money deposit bank came out that they are ready to collect, but when they get to any CBN, they find it difficult to get Naira to really supply to the market. And they are saying they have 3.1 billion Naira, I mean, in circulation, but it's not reflecting, and that's a serious problem.
Indeed, a serious problem. Quite a whole lot of work there before Olayemi Cardoso. We also know that the current CBN governor is, I mean, the former CBN governor rather, in some investigation, we just hope that same fate will not befall Mr. Cardoso. I know he is doing well. He's doing quite a whole lot of work. But let's look at the costs of rice now, like you rightly mentioned. The average 50 kg of local rice now is around 65,000 Naira. Right. This was as of December 21st. It's about 50% increase or thereabout. If you look at the American rice, a foreign long grain rice that sold for 46,000 last year is now going for 80,000 Naira. Another foreign brand as well. It's also going for 50K. For 50K last year is now going for 75,000 Naira. So this what Nigeria has to face to celebrate this Christmas. And people keep wondering. We celebrate every day, despite the fact that we know a lot of people celebrate this day as a very, very special day. Don't you think sometimes when we are celebrating, we look at our, economy, we look at our financial strength, and of course, cut our coat according to our clothes?
Right. I think it's quite saddening that after spending a lot of money by President Muhammadu Buhari during his tenure on the issue of anchor, borrower, and in issue of self-sufficiency in rice production, up till now, there is no really big difference, because if you look at it now, it has not shown that we have self-sufficiency in rice production. And it's not that we don't have self-sufficiency. It's because what we need to take into cognizance, we are not taking it into cognizance. There's what we call enablers. These enablers make your policy work and bring out the result. And the first enabler we have to look at is also the issue of supply chain. It's not enough that you are producing rice. What about the movement of that rice from the producer, to the, what about all the value chain? It's a serious problem. So that we are producing rice does not mean our rice is cheap, because a lot of things that they need to, someone who wants to produce rice also need electricity, right? Someone to need energy, need transportation and all those things. So if all those things are not working in the favor of the production, it becomes a problem. And that's why we always use the example of China. If you look at Chinese company, they are doing well from their country, even up to Nigeria. For them to even have what we call a place that they don't pay tax in Nigeria, right? So, and from their country, everything is the ease of doing business. So our ease of doing business should not be only the rhetorics, should not be in the soft or in the registration of company. Should be in the operationalization of all these things. Look at the road. Our road is not good. It also adds to the cost of production. Look at feeder road from a farm to the city center. It's a problem. So we must work on the supply chain very, very well. All the touch point of supply chain need to be, if not, we'll continue to have increments. So imagine we are producing rice at a large scale. Remember the pyramid and all those things does not reflect. So I think federal government need to be conscious about it. Though we are in a democracy, you cannot have price control, but government can influence that price control. In fact, government can even go into farming with the aim to really reduce the cost of produce.
Indeed, some say the debt of local government administration in Nigeria is actually responsible for all of this, because if indeed all the 774 local governments in Nigeria are empowered by government, nobody will have to come to the government at the center or even to blame them. Why is it so difficult for us to implement this? There is already a template on the ground.
Right.
You have all the local government chairmen. Why not channel all of these things through them? If you develop each local government in all the all over the country, you have developed the entire country.
I think it's becoming a difficult task for governments, especially president, especially Tinubu has a special way of doing. Remember, President Muhammad Buhari even bring out executive order to give autonomy to local government. But it does not still work. I also watch on TV, I saw a local government chairman who said they don't want autonomy. They still want to be under state. I wonder what is happening to him.
Maybe
so
one of those sponsored.
Yeah, exactly. So the challenge is that we have not really tapped as expected. Imagine if our 774 local government are functioning very well, like you mentioned. Imagine everyone have their peculiar product.
Exactly.
So we must start developing from that area, because if you allow them to grow, look at Ministry of Mining. If mining can really look into each local government, they would have tapped a lot of things. I read just as I'm coming that because of oil, we have neglected where we actually have the money, which is in the mine. So I think we should start doing these things, and it should be done by force. You know why I said force? State government does not want local government to function. Absolutely. So it takes a president to have its own way, pay them directly, do intervention directly.
Somebody suggested that the SIEC, right, the State Electoral Commission, should be abolished, while the INEC National should conduct the election.
I think that would have been best, so that the federal government can have, because look at if you conduct any local government election now, 99% will be won by the incumbent governor. So I think that would have been a better option.
All right, we're delving into politics. All is in the name of how to shape Nigeria and see how the 774 local governments in Nigeria and indeed can actually function properly. If imagine one crop per all the local government, I mean, they're talking about 774 different kind of crops. So Nigerians indeed will have choices even as they celebrate Christmas. Well, that's our show for today. We'll be back again tomorrow, which is Boxing Day, to give you more. Merry Christmas again to all our viewers. I am Yusuf Akugu.